guys, welcome back to my channel. So I just finished watching part 5 of Ahsoka. My reaction is going to be under my YouTube memberships. If you are new here and you do not know what that is, it's like a VIP for my channel. For those of you who want a few special perks, I've got 2 levels of memberships over there. Level 1 is for $2.99 and you get priority replies from me, special polls, and soon to come live streams. Level 2 is for $4.99 and you get everything that level 1 has, plus you get all of my reactions to all of the shows I watch, any movies I watch, and all of my uncut Try Not to Laughs. So make sure you guys go over there and check that out and become a member today so you guys can see my reaction to tonight's episode of Ahsoka. So now, we saw in the last episode that Ahsoka came in contact with Anakin after they took Sabine and they left and they destroyed the map, and she ended up falling, I guess, in the water, but it wasn't really the water. It was some kind of different realm that one of you guys told me. It was more explained in that series that came out, that like an animated series that I didn't watch yet, but maybe I'll go ahead and give it a shot and watch. But anyway, so we see that General Syndulla's, or she came, and her son Jacen, along with Chop and the captain, they came all to kind of assess the area. And you know, as she's kind of looking around, like, I thought that she was going to come across, you know, Ahsoka, but she didn't. So we end up instead seeing Yang holding Sabine's Mandalorian's helmet. But in the meantime, in the midst of all of that, we see Ahsoka talking to Anakin, and she's not understanding what's happening, where she is, what happened. And he said, well, you lost. And she doesn't seem to comprehend that. And so she's like, well, basically, like, you know, what are you doing here? And he's there to finish her training. And at that moment, I was like, oh. So they begin to fight on whatever beam they're on or whatever. So they're going at it. And it was kind of pretty cool to see that. So then at one point, he kind of like stabs wherever she's standing. And he's just like, I didn't teach you everything. So she ends up falling all the way down to like the ground of wherever she's visualizing she's at. Now at this point, she's a young girl, and she ended up falling in the middle of the Clone Wars. I don't think I saw the Clone Wars. There's certain Star Wars movies that I did not see. I think Clone Wars was one of them that I didn't see. But she's a little girl here, and the little girl, I think, is played by the girl that's in Barbie, who was also played by, I forget her name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. I think it's her, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so she doesn't understand like what she's doing there, and she's like, well, what about my training? He's like, this is your training. And so they're all, you see all of them just running and fighting and everything. And you know, she feels distraught because they're losing so many people, and she doesn't want to fight anymore. And at one point she's talking to Anakin, and Anakin is like, look, basically, like, I'm teaching you how to survive. Like, you either fight or you die. So she's just kind of standing there watching him, and they're all going, and he pulls out his lightsaber. And as he's walking, you see a beam of light in front of him, and then you see Darth Vader. And then the lightsaber color changes to red. And I was just like, oh, whoa, okay. Okay. I like that they did that. That was actually pretty damn cool. So she goes on, and then she ends up finishing that part of her training, because you see them kind of fighting, and he comes along. His real version comes along, and he's kind of like walking behind her, and he's just like, good or whatever. And then all of a sudden he turns around, and you see his eyes red, and then he wants to continue to train her. Now his beam, his lightsaber is red, and he's like fighting her like crazy, right? In the midst of all of that, Jacen, General Syndulla's son, oh, and by the way, like, when Anakin and Ahsoka start fighting. She's like, "Why are you here? Or what is going on?" And he tells her, "I'm giving you a chance to either live or die." And that's when they kind of start fighting and everything. So, um, Jacen, who is General Syndulla's son, he's standing by the edge of where they are, trying to investigate what happened. And he's like, "Do you hear that?" To his mom. And she's like, "Hear what?" And he hears lightsabers. So he hears Ahsoka and Anakin fighting. And then in that little part right there, we find out that he is part Jedi. His father is a Jedi. And I forgot the name of um the his father. They did name him though, in that area. But he's like, he hears something in the water. And at first mom's not catching it, but then she ends up getting herself into a place where she can hear the lightsabers. And so from then on, they're trying to kind of investigate and figure out a way um, to get to where they are, because she feels that that's Ahsoka. And so, the General Syndulla is going like literally beyond what she needs to be doing. Like she's breaking all the rules, right? So they end up traveling to wherever she's at. Son's helping out. And I want to see more of her son, because now that I know that he's half Jedi, he asked Oolong, "Can you train me?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Can you teach me how to build a lightsaber?" No. Like Oolong is so like by the book, it's not even funny. So anyway, so back to young Ahsoka. They're in the middle, when Anakin comes back around, Anakin is just like, "Where?" He kind of doesn't know where he is, and she's like, "Oh, this is the siege of Mandalore." But by that time, we have gone apart, so they're no longer partnered up at this point when the siege of Mandalore is happening. And that's when Anakin kind of turns to her, and he's got like the bloodshot red eyes, and he's fighting her. And then at one point he kicks her, and he kicks her so far that they're now back on that beam that they were fighting on. So now she's getting ready to fight him again on this beam. And as he's walking towards her, it's like lightning is striking, and as the lightning is striking, you see the images of Darth Vader. And I'm like, "Oh shoot," like I didn't know how far this was gonna go. So I love that they did that. That was kind of pretty dope. And so she ends up completing her training, I assume, because she says, "I choose to live." And so, you see that now she's submerged in water where she ended up falling in the first place. They come find her, she's recovering on the ship and everything. And now she's found a way to find out where Sabine is, and possibly Ezra. So when they were on the platform of where initially everything went down, she kind of felt around to find out what Sabine's last memory was. And that's how she kind of came to the conclusion of, how to get to her. And so they flew out and everything. And now they're in the sky, seeing like the sky whales again. And I guess she's kind of talking to them at one point, and she's talking to like the really big one. And at this point, the captain is trying to call off Morgan's dogs. I think that's who they are, if I remember correctly. And he's basically telling them whatever he needs to tell them to keep them away. But meanwhile, the sky whale like opens up their mouth, and they literally just go in there. And that's how they are going to get them to where Sabine is, and hopefully Ezra. And that's been their thing. Like, that's been their mission, is to try to get to Ezra and try to prevent a huge war because of this map. But now this map is broken, so now they got to figure out their way to get to Sabine. So that's how Ahsoka found out that they took Sabine. So they know that Sabine is still alive, but they need to find out where she is. And so it was kind of cool to kind of see her talking to the whale, or I guess communicating, and basically letting them know what it is that they need, and they need their help and everything. And at that point, the the people who are trying to get in their way are like backing off as soon as they see the whole herd of sky whales and everything. And Uyang kind of asks her, like, basically, do you even know where we're going or where Sabine is? And she's like, no, but it's better than going nowhere. And so I thought that that was pretty cool. So at this point now, they've just kind of zapped away. So who knows where they're going to be ending up at this point. But I thought it was so dope the way that they kind of showed Darth. Um, and the change of the lightsaber from green to red. I just, that was so dope. That was so dope. So to me, like, I don't know if her training is over. I don't know if this is just a small aspect of her training, or if this was just a completion of her training with Anakin at this point. Now she chose to live. Now she's making her way to just finding Sabine, finding Ezra, hopefully, and preventing this war. Um, we didn't see Morgan in this episode, so now I'm assuming that the next episode we're gonna see where they are, see what they're doing with Sabine, find out how they're gonna get to her, hopefully find out if you know they're gonna be able to get her out of there. So I think the general didn't go with them, so it's just Uyang, it's Ahsoka inside of the whale's mouth, off to go find Sabine now. So this was a pretty cool episode. I really, really enjoyed it. But leave your comments down below. Let me know if you guys enjoyed episode 5 of Ahsoka. Give me your thoughts. Let me know if you enjoyed my review. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel. Hit like, share. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later. Toodles!